Okay, so everybody should be open to page 239. Let's see, Wednesday, we finished talking about the Easter Triduum. What are the days in the Easter Triduum? What's the first day of the Easter Triduum? Zari. Oh, she got cut off. She got kicked out right as she was saying it. What is the first day of the Easter Triduum? Zadie. Holy Thursday. What's the second day of the Easter Triduum? Smith.
Good Friday.
Good Friday. And what's the third day of the Easter Triduum? Come on, guys. You all have this. Don't stare at me. Colin. Victoria? Holy Saturday, sometimes called the Easter Vigil. What do we celebrate on Holy Thursday? What do we remember on Holy Thursday? Come on, guys, you all have this. Carla and Cullen aren't the only ones. Cullen and Smith. Aaron, what do we celebrate on Holy Thursday? The Last Supper. What do we celebrate on Good Friday? Same people every time. You have a book. You have a book, and it has the answers in there. Zari, what do we celebrate on Good Friday?
Jesus' death.
Jesus' suffering and death. And what do we celebrate on Holy Saturday? Aaron? When Jesus rose from the dead. So, okay, thank you to the 5 people, 5.5 people who were in our were in our religion class last week. The rest of you, it's very frustrating. Because you have the book in front of you. You were all here in the lesson. So it tells me you weren't listening and you weren't even trying. Because all the answers were right here in your book. You weren't even trying. I can't do my job if you won't try. I can talk all day, but if you refuse to try or think, it's pointless. Your parents are paying a whole bunch of money for nothing. Okay, on page 239, we are going to read the scripture account of Jesus' resurrection. Please start, Ethan. You're not ready. Only one person is ready, so that one person can go ahead. Aaron, please start. We already read that. Somebody who knows where we are. Mason, you're not ready yet. Come on, guys. Cullen.
The resurrection of Jesus. At daybreak, Mary
Sound it out.
Magdalene, Joanna of
No.
Joanne,
Not Joanne. That's not an E at the end, that's an A. Joanna. I don't know why, but you guys like to flip letters. And so even though it's A-N-N-A, a lot of you would have read N-A-N-A. Joanna. But that's not the order the letters are in. It's J-O-A-N-N-A. So Joanna.
At daybreak, Mary Magdalene, Joanna, and Mary, the mother of James, went to the tomb where Jesus was buried. They took with them some pieces.
Not some pieces.
Some spices they had
Not paired.
prepared.
Okay. Read next. Zadie.
When they arrived at the tomb, they found the stone rolled away from the entrance. The women entered the tomb, but they didn't find the body of Jesus. The women were very puzzled. Suddenly, two men dressed in dazzling white appeared to them. The women were afraid.
Women, remember M-E-N means plural, so women, not woman.
The women were afraid. The men said, "Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not there, but has been raised. Remember how he told you, while he was still in Galilee, that the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of the sinful men, and be crucified on the third day, and on the third day rise."
Who are these men in white? Ethan? Angels. And what are they telling these women? What are these angels telling these women? Carla?
He had risen from the dead.
Who has risen from the dead?
Jesus.
Jesus. They're telling them Jesus isn't here. He rose from the dead. Kingston, read the last little bit.
The women remembered Jesus' words. The women told the apostles all the things that they had seen and heard.
So this is what happened on Holy Saturday. They go to Jesus' tomb, and what's happened? Lena?
He's not there.
He's not there. It's empty. And then what happens? They're freaking out. They're like, why is his tomb empty? Then what happens, Lena?
The angels come and tell him he is raised from the dead.
The angels come and tell him he rose from the dead. Have they seen Jesus yet?
No.
When is the first day? What day do we celebrate the day that they saw Jesus risen from the dead? What day is that? Where we celebrate when they all, the apostles and Mary, all saw Jesus alive again. Zari.
Easter.
Easter. So Holy Saturday is the day they found out. Easter is the day where everyone saw it with their own eyes and knew it. Okay, so let's see. We don't have time right now, but I am going to ask you when we come back from, let's see, art. Let's see, actually, yeah, when we come back from lunch, we're going to do about 15 minutes of religion, and then we'll start math. Okay? Yes, Zari.
I'm not coming back on.
Are you not? Okay. So if you can, will you be able to watch the video at some point? Like on a phone or something?
Yeah, I'll be able to watch the video when I come back Monday.
Okay. So yeah, and then just send it to me over the break, and I'll just make it your first grade in the fourth quarter. Okay. So we will finish this. So we talked about how Lent is a time for sacrifice. It's a time for thought. It's for, you don't need the face shields anymore. Sorry, I should have said that. It's a time for sacrifice. It's a time for thinking about yourself and your actions. It's a time for trying to avoid temptation. It's a time to think about Jesus and what he had to go through in order for us to be able to go to heaven. So, right now, what we're going to talk about are virtues. You've all probably heard of virtues before. Virtues are things that we should have or that we should make stronger in order for us to be closer to God. Virtues are things that help us to be good images of God. Because remember, God created us in his own image. There are 4 cardinal virtues. That means these are the ones that are most important to have and to make stronger. Get out your religion notebooks, because I want you to take notes on these. So quickly get out your religion notebooks and just add these to the chapter 21 vocab words. You can just draw a squiggly line underneath the last vocab word, and then just write today's date, because we're still in chapter 21. So go to the page with the chapter 21 vocab, draw a squiggly line, and then write today's date. I don't know why I keep wanting to write 12 instead of 21.
Because you are writing 12.
So, you have your dot over on the pink line, and then you have the subheading for cardinal virtues. And remember, this means the ones that are most important to have and to grow strong. Go put a little bit of a space between the pink line and where you start. Number 1 is the virtue of prudence. P-R-U-D-E-N-C-E. Now, if you can't catch up with me, that's okay, because during the independent activity, you can catch up if you need to, okay? Prudence is the first one. Prudence helps us know the right choice. So prudence, that virtue, helps us to know what the right choice is. We're given choices. Prudence helps us to know which choice is right. So prudence helps us. We're at a grocery store. It would be really easy. No one's watching you. Your mom's checking out. The cashier is busy scanning things. There's no one in line behind you. You want that candy. Your mom won't buy it for you. You could be like, you have those choices. Take it, not take it. Prudence helps you to know which choice is right. What is the right choice in that situation? Carla.
To do not get the candy.
To not take the candy. So there, Carla's got prudence. It is very important for us to build on this and to make this stronger, because sometimes the right choice isn't so easy to pick. The second cardinal virtue is justice. Justice. J-U-S-T-I-C-E. Justice. Justice helps us to give people what belongs to them. Carla, if you can't see that last word, here, I'll turn it a little bit. There you go. So justice helps us to give people what belongs to them. Now you may be thinking, oh, that means if I find a cool pencil on the ground, but I know Aaron was using it earlier, I need to give Aaron that pencil instead of just sticking it in my backpack and taking it home with me. Yes, that is justice. But justice also means treating everybody with respect and the kindness that they deserve. So that means when your friend is talking badly about somebody, even if that person is nowhere near, you need to say, hey, we need to stop and we need to be kind. We need to give them the kindness that they deserve. Everyone deserves kindness. Even if they are not a kind person themselves, they still deserve kindness. So justice helps us to do that. Give people the kindness and the respect they deserve, as well as their belongings that belong to them. Yes, Victoria, quickly.
So it's like that you see a pencil that Erin was using even though she was really rude to you?
Exactly. Like say Erin was like the meanest person on the world, which is the exact opposite of what she actually is. But let's pretend. Let's pretend Erin was the meanest person in the class, and she has hit people and pushed them down in the mud and just says mean things. Nothing but mean things comes out of her mouth. which is 100% opposite of who Erin is.
Yes.
Like, she is probably one of the nicest people, but pretend. And she brought a cool pencil. She got a cool pencil out of the treasure drawer. There's none other like it. And it fell on the floor, and it's almost the end of the day. You could super easily just grab it and put it in your backpack. Or even if you don't like the pencil, just because you know Erin's mean and she doesn't deserve it. Well, yes, she does. Even though she is not kind, she still deserves kindness from you. Okay? Now, we know that's not true with Erin. But we know people that are like that, or we've heard of people that are like that. Well, they still deserve us to have this virtue towards them. Okay, the third cardinal virtue is fortitude. Fortitude. Fortitude helps us do the right thing even when it's hard. So fortitude helps us to do the right thing even when it's hard. So, like that situation we just kind of talked about, that fake situation that is in no way real, it would be really easy, and you are just mad at Erin. She said something mean. You are mad at her. You don't want her to have that cool pencil. So, and it's so easy. It's right there, and your backpack is right there, and nobody's watching. Everybody's quietly reading in their corners. It's hard. You're mad. You want to make her hurt in the way that you hurt. But fortitude helps us to do the right thing, which is say, hey, Erin, you dropped your pencil, even when it's hard, because you know she's going to say something mean about it. Not true at all. Erin, I hope you don't mind. We're picking on you.
It's fine.
Okay. Because we all know it's not even a little bit true. So, do you see the difference between fortitude and prudence? Prudence helps us to know which choice is right. Taking the pencil, just leaving it there and not saying anything, or telling Erin. Do you see how sometimes it's not easy to pick the right choice? You could just not say anything and just leave it there. But is that really the right choice? To not say anything at all? Like, you don't take it, you just leave it. Is that really the right choice? You can show me. No. What is the best choice? Lena?
To give it back to her.
To give it back to her, to tell her that it's there. So prudence helps us to figure out that that is the right choice. Fortitude helps us to do that. So do you see the difference between prudence and fortitude? Okay, number 4 is temperance. Temperance. T-E-M-P-E-R-A-N-C-E. Temperance. Temperance helps us control our desires and to use things like food, TV, music, etc. Yes.
Can we use the back?
Yes. Always. The only time you can't use the back is on a published piece. Hold on one second, Carla. Correct. So, temperance helps us to control our desires, the things we want, and to use things like food, TV, and music things that like please our senses, sight, sound, taste, smell, those things, correctly. So that means, now this is one I struggle with. There's a chocolate cake sitting there. I bought that chocolate cake. I'm the only one planning on eating it. Temperance stops me from eating that whole chocolate cake in one night. So temperance is very important. Or like the TV. You guys like watching TV or playing a game on your tablet or a video game, whatever. Temperance helps us to realize, okay, I've been playing this game for an hour. My mom is downstairs by herself. Maybe I'll stop playing my game and I'll go talk to my mom. I'll go hang out with my mom for a little bit. I'll go help her with chores. Well, that's what temperance is. So we all need temperance. Victoria, that's too much. Don't take advantage of the fact that I've been more lenient on you guys today, because it is the day before a break. Temperance helps us control our actions. It keeps us from eating that whole chocolate cake or that whole bag of candy. It keeps us from watching video games, from playing video games all night instead of going to set the table or do the dishes or just our regular chores. Okay? Yes, Ethan.
I thought it was about like anger issues.
Well, it does sound like temper, but temper actually means to stop something. Like if you temper something, it means you stop it. But a temper is when you're angry. So it's one of those multiple meaning words. So to temper something means you stop it. So that's where the base word temper comes from in this word. You stop yourself from going too far. Carla, yes, quickly.
In case, Mason, I'm trying to say something, but, in case something's wrong and, we accidentally forgot to add something and to write down the date, like, speech therapy or something, not
Okay.
like speech therapy, but like homework from like another class, like art. You want us?
Carla,
is it okay?
hold on, Carla.
I mean, is
Does
it
this
okay
have to-
if you make the video?
Carla, does this have to do with the religion lesson right now, or can it wait?
Not now.
Okay, so we'll talk about that later. Okay, so these are the 4 cardinal virtues. They are the ones that it's most important to work on within yourselves. God gives us these virtues, but we are the ones that have to make them stronger. We have to do things to make our virtue of prudence stronger, that help figure out which choice is right. We have to do things to make this virtue of justice stronger within ourselves, giving people what belongs to them. We have to do the work to make this virtue of fortitude stronger, doing the right thing even when it's hard. We have to make this virtue of temperance stronger. We have to control our desires and use these types of things correctly. Not go overboard, control ourselves. So what I want you to do now is open to page 240. This Bible verse at the top of page 240, so if you're not finished writing these, pause, you'll have a chance. It says, read along with me. You therefore, make sure you're reading along with me at the top of page 240. You therefore must be perfect, as your heavenly Father is perfect. That's from Matthew chapter 5, verse 48. What Jesus is saying here is not saying that we have to be perfect, because can we be perfect? No. Who are the only people who are perfect? Mason, tell me one. God is not a person, but who is the person? Jesus. Who else? Michaela? Mary. Anyone else? Not a single other person. Not me, not your parents, not Father Robert. Nobody. So, what that is saying is that Jesus is just asking us to be, or God is just asking us to be more like him. To be loving, kind, and forgiving. Loving, kind, forgiving. One way we can do that, to be loving, kind, and forgiving, is to practice the virtues. Grow them stronger. Remember, the more you practice, the better you get at something, right? That's why if you play an instrument, you have to go to practice. You don't just get to do the recitals or the concerts. You also have to practice. If you play a sport, you don't just play the games. You also have to practice. With math, you don't just take a test. You have to do the homework, the practice. So that's why it's important. Practicing these virtues will help us get closer to God. It will help us to do that Bible verse at the top. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of these virtues. And you are going to decide which one do you want to work on for the rest of Lent. We have like 3.5 more weeks of Lent. So, maybe 2.5. 2.5 more weeks of Lent. Because then we have the Easter Triduum and then Easter. Excuse me. Yeah, we have spring break, 1 more week, few days, and then the Easter Triduum. So 2.5 weeks of Lent that are left. Which of these virtues do you think you need to work on the most? Which one will you practice the most for the next 2.5 weeks? And then you need to decide, why do you want to practice this virtue? What is it going to help you to do? And then you're going to sign it and date it at the bottom. Does everybody understand what they need to do? Go ahead, because you're going to have 10 minutes to do it.
So those are the virtues?
Yep, these are the 4 virtues. There are more, which you can see around the edge, but unfortunately we don't really have time. So what I'm going to do is, while you are doing that, I'm going to be writing these other virtues and what they mean, just so that you know them. You've probably seen a lot of them before. You might already know them, but just so you know what they are. Yes, Kingston, your hand keeps going up and up and up as soon as I stop talking, so I can tell all you're really thinking right now is her mouth moving? Is her mouth moving? Oh, her mouth's not moving. I can ask my question. So I don't know if you were listening to any of that. What is your question?
So, I think we're already done with some of them. You're just going to erase the top.
Yes. I will erase one at a time and add more virtues. But they are not cardinal virtues. These are the 4 cardinal virtues. These are the most important. There are some other moral virtues, which are ones that they're not really about knowing what is right. They're just about acting in the right way. Yes, Mason. So go ahead and begin.
Do you want us to write our names down?
Yep, I said, and sign it and date it, because you're signing a contract. This is what I'm going to work on.
I thought you were going to go signature.
But you can try signature. Like, you can try cursive. But if you don't know how to write your name in cursive, just write it. Sign it just means put your name on it. Okay.